Whether it be a demo, a fully composed track, or even an entire album, or 3, music in lost media is as common as mosquitoes in the summer. These days, an unheard tune from a popular artist can appear online at any moment. Hell, it could even happen the very second this video goes up. But there are exceptions. And I mean a fuckload of exceptions. This video will cover 10 of those pieces of music that have not been heard by the public in any shape or form. Even pieces that have been performed live at least once and never released physically or digitally would be included. Since the last video was a fucking nightmare to do, this video may be shorter than usual, and I got a mate to help me with this list. With that out of the way, here are 10 pieces of lost music.
The Offspring, Hey Joe, 1989. Hey Joe was a song registered for copyright protection in the US in 1962 by Billy Roberts. It revolves around a man on the run to Mexico after shooting his cheating wife, and while the song's ownership is debated, the earliest known version belongs to the Leaves, but Jimi Hendrix's version from 1966 is undoubtedly the most famous. 3 versions of the song have been released by The Offspring: the 1989 tape version, the 1991 Baghdad version, and the 1996 version released on Go Ahead Punk, Make My Day, and Happy Hour released in 2010, and is the single on 1997's Gone Away. Due to the tape's rarity, it was once thought to be a bootleg, and the 1989 tape is the only version that's considered lost to this day. But the search really kicked off once the tape was verified. There's some uncertainty over whether the 1989 and 1991 versions are the same song, but those who have listened to the original say it's a lot less polished and raw than the 1991 song. And since there have been no responses to requests for information about the original version of this 1989 Hey Joe, it's considered lost. In the event that someone found the tape in their collection, or if it were to go up for auction, the mystery could be solved.
We had this album cover for Foxtrot, which had a woman in a fox's head.
And he walked one day on stage in a red dress and a fox's head.
Genesis, Going Out to Get You, and Wooden Mask. In 1971, before they became the Phil Collins-fronted hitmakers of the 1980s, Genesis recorded what was going to be their next single, Going Out to Get You, with Wooden Mask as the B-side in between the release of the albums Trespass and Nursery Crime. The former was first recorded in August 1969 with their previous frontman, Peter Gabriel, and was a completely different piece compared to their respective prog rock output that would come in the following decade. Wooden Mask, however, was a whole new composition and was described as a good song by both bassist Mike Rutherford and guitarist Steve Hackett. But for whatever reason, it wasn't released either as a single or on Nursery Crime and has since gone missing. The 1969 demo of Going Out to Get You was included in the 1998 box set Genesis Archive 1967-75 and can easily be found online. Originally, both the 1971 version and Wooden Mask were going to be included in the box set, but the band couldn't find the tapes in their archives. The updated version of Going Out to Get You was performed live, however, from 1971 to 1972, and bootlegs of these performances can be found online. But Wooden Mask, however, was not performed live, and absolutely nothing of it can be found today.
Muse, This Is a Muse demo tape. This Is a Muse demo is the earliest known work from Muse, going back to May 1995, when it was recorded at Christopher Wollstonholme's home. One of the songs is fully found, and the other 3 have clips on YouTube. It's been up for auction twice, but it's notoriously expensive. It was first put up for auction in 2005, and an ex-girlfriend of Dominic Howard allegedly won it for £500, or roughly $621 US, but refused to share it. Despite Muse fans trying to come together to buy the tape, a collector won the second auction for $4,214. 3 copies of the tape are known to exist, but they are extremely rare and difficult to find. One is confirmed to be held by a band member, but it's unclear which one has it. Backdoor has since been found in full on May 8, 2020, and uploaded to YouTube by B-Tech Dom Howard.
Critics allege he's exploiting his subjects rather than making social commentary.
The Stone Roses, Third Coming. In 1996, the British rock band The Stone Roses began recording for their third album. Following the less than positive reception to their previous album, Second Coming, and the sudden departures of drummer Rennie and guitarist John Squire, singer Ian Brown and bassist Manny were the only members of the classic lineup still in the band and wanted the band to continue, and acquired drummer Robbie Maddox to fulfill the dates on the Second Coming tour. And when Squire left in early 1996, former Asia and Simply Red guitarist Aziz Abraham was brought in as Squire's replacement. In between their final gig with Squire at Wembley Arena on December 29, 1995, and their gig in Spain on August 2, 1996, the new lineup recorded 4 songs intended for their next album, the songs being Ice Cold Cube, High Time, Black Sheep, and Na Na. The band would perform Ice Cold Cube and High Time at their final performance at the 1996 Reading Festival, and recordings of the performance can be found today. But due to the negative press surrounding the band following the departure of Squire and their performance at Reading being panned by critics and fans, the band broke up a couple months later and would be their final performance for 16 years. Ice Cold Cube would be re-recorded for Ian Brown's first solo album, Unfinished Monkey Business, that was released 2 years after the band broke up, and High Time would become Getting High and was released on Brown's second solo album, Golden Greats, a year later. Abraham would go on to state that he had the only copy of those songs recorded for the band's third album, but he has since given it to singer Ian Brown.
But I'd given up my only copy, my cassette, of those songs to Ian, so that cassette is really valuable.
As of today, only recordings of the Writing Festival performance are all that we have of Ice Cold Cube and High Time, while we have nothing from Black Sheep and Na Na, and given the negative press Brown managed to get himself into in the past 3 years, it's unlikely these songs will ever be found.
9 Inch Nails' Bleed Through. Bleed Through is a scrapped album by 9 Inch Nails set to release around 2004 and 2005. Trent Reznor said this about the release: "Bleed Through is no more. As the songs and concepts matured, the focus and the theme of the album shifted somewhat, leaving me feeling that the title was inappropriate. Or you could say I changed my mind." And according to Trent, Dave Grohl drummed 15 of the 20 tracks, and the original concept for Bleed Through was an exploration of loss and possible discovery of self, along with alternate layers of reality and perception set inside a nightmare you can't seem to wake up from, with lots of feedback. The album that did release was With Teeth, although it was originally Breathe Through, referencing an audio phenomenon. When Trent Reznor asked why the title was dropped, he replied, "I think it was supposed to be about different layers of reality seeping into the next, but I think some people were thinking about blood or a tampon commercial."
Ryan Starr, MySpace Songs. After competing on the first season of American Idol in 2002, Ryan Starr, whose real name is Tiffany Montgomery, pursued a music career in 2004 with the release of her only readily available song, My Religion, on iTunes. The release of the song was to capitalize her appearance on VH1's The Surreal Life, which premiered its second season around this time, and according to MTV, ended up making the Guinness Book of World Records for the most exclusive single downloads in iTunes history. However, Starr wouldn't release any more songs, but back when MySpace was still a thing, she uploaded 6 original songs she did. Those being 7 AM, Blue, Eyes of a Child, Broken, Love Gone Bad, and Stranded. 2 of them, along with My Religion, would be included on the Curtain Call New Songs from Past American Idol Finalists Volume 1 CD in 2008, but it has since become unavailable. And since MySpace committed a massive server cock-up in 2015, all of Starr's songs are no longer available despite being shown on her page. Only 7 AM can be found today. The rest of the songs Starr uploaded to MySpace remain lost to this day.
So, what do you think?
Madonna Ray of Light 10-minute version. Ray of Light is a single from Madonna's 7th studio album that shares the same name. The idea for the song began in 1997 when Madonna reached out to Orbit, asking if he was interested in writing a few songs with her. She also said he was on her wish list for music collabs. The single was recorded with the rest of her album at Larrabee North Studio in North Hollywood. Madonna claimed the song was out of control and the original version is 10 minutes long. It was completely indulgent, but I loved it. It was heartbreaking to cut it to a manageable length. The original version was supposed to be included on the album Veronica Electronica, but neither the album nor the full song have surfaced. A 7-minute clip of the song was uploaded to YouTube on April 13th, 2014. This sparked new interest in finding the full song, and it's definitely possible, but for now, it's lost.
What you're saying is complete and utter fucking blasphemy.
Oasis, Definitely Maybe Original Sessions. In 1993, after signing to Alan McGee's Creation Records, British rock band Oasis headed to Mono Valley Studios in Wales to record their debut album, Definitely Maybe, with sensational Alex Harvey band producer Dave Batchelor behind the mixing desk and sound engineer Dave Scott. 9 songs, Rock and Roll Star, Shaker Maker, Live Forever, Up in the Sky, Columbia, Bring It On Down, Cigarettes and Alcohol, Dixie's Dinner, and Slide Away were recorded before the band went out on the road while the mixes were sent to Creation Records to approve. The label rejected the recordings, saying the sessions didn't echo the band's live sound, and Batchelor was fired as the producer. Dave Scott would get fired by Batchelor during the recording of the song Slide Away over differences of the song's tempo. According to Scott, Batchelor was trying to record the song at the same pace and speed to the song Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd, and one of the takes resulted in the song being 10 minutes long. After another failed recording venture at the Pink Museum Studios in Liverpool, in which the song Supersonic was born, the band camped out at Sawmill Studios in Cornwall to try and record the album, this time with their guitarist Noel Gallagher and longtime sound engineer Mark Coyle producing the sessions. The sessions again were rejected by the label, and in a last-ditch effort to salvage the situation, he called up Owen Morris, who was a relatively unknown producer, to mix what was recorded for the album. Morris mixed the sessions at Matrix Recording Studios in Fulham and even got singer Liam Gallagher to re-record some vocals. The final mixes would be given the green light by the label and would be released in August 1994. Since its release, the original sessions have not resurfaced in full, with a version of Slide Away, not being 10 minutes long, being used on Definitely Maybe. Bring It On Down from Mono Valley would be released on the 2014 Japanese re-release of the album, and a snippet of the Mono Valley version of Cigarettes and Alcohol would be used in the 2016 documentary Oasis Supersonic. The sessions from the Pink Museum Studios and Sawmills would be leaked in full through bootlegs in the following years, but the rest of the sessions at Mono Valley have yet to resurface.
Kirsty MacColl, Real. After singer Kirsty MacColl released her debut album Desperate Character in 1981, she returned to Polydor Records to make Real, an album that was supposed to have a synth-pop sound. She worked with Dave Jordan, known for The Specials, to produce it, but McCall's newer releases flopped despite having a hit single, which is why the album was scrapped. In a 1994 interview with Record Collector magazine, she said this about the album: "When we got to the end of the recording, I realized that nobody from the company had been down or just asked to hear the demos. It was obvious that they weren't interested. Then they just dropped me. I was left with a finished album that wasn't coming out, and that does your head in. It's like having a baby and then leaving it in a phone box." Some tracks have surfaced over the years, like when she had another hit in 1985, in New England, and Polydor re-released Desperate Character with 3 new songs from Real. It didn't sell very well, being seen as a desperate cash grab, but those opinions have changed in later years. Berlin and Roman Gardens also appeared on 2005 compilation known as From Croydon to Cuba, an anthology, with 2 bonus tracks from Real, Sticked in Stone and Camel Crossing. As far as lost songs go, there is a list on the Lost Media Wiki that goes as follows: Bad Dreams, Man with No Name, announced for a self-titled compilation album along with rumors of a special edition, but also went unreleased, but Free World reports that the song was given to one fan who sent the lyrics into the website. Germany, Time, Goodnight Paris, Lullaby for Ezra, and Up the Grey Stairs. According to Free World, there was another track named Sleepless Nights, a version of the B-side Go to Sleep, which was reported to have been on Kirsty MacColl.
The Chicks, Taking the Long Way, unreleased songs. Taking the Long Way was the 7th album released by the country music trio The Chicks in May 2006, 3 years after lead singer Natalie Maines openly criticized the then US President George W. Bush during a concert at Shepherd's Bush Empire in London, which ignited a tidal wave of backlash towards the band. While the album polarized critics when it was released, it's now seen as the band's best album, right behind their previous studio outing, Home. Of the songs recorded for the album, 3 were left out of the final product: The Neighbor, Baby Love, and Whatever It Takes. The Neighbor would be released as a standalone single the following year in support of the documentary Dixie Chicks Shut Up and Sing, and segments of Baby Love and Whatever It Takes can be heard in the documentary. Whatever It Takes is the only one out of the unreleased songs to have actually been performed live by the band, and a recording of the performance was available on YouTube for a short time, but has since been taken down for copyright violation and has not been archived. Given that the band returned in 2020 with the album Gaslighter to well overdue critical acclaim, it's unknown if these tracks will ever be released.